So I had hoped to get out and do some plein air painting this week, but we started off the week with way too high temperatures. I think Monday was 94 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 34 Celsius. Yesterday was a little cooler, but not much, if I remember right. Anyway, today's supposed to get quite hot again. I used to be very resilient to that kind of thing. I'm not so much anymore. I'm type 2 diabetic, and one of the bonuses of this condition is fatigue. And most of the time it's not too bad. Lately it's been getting a little worse, and just the last few days I've been really tired. But last night I got a great night's sleep, and I'm gonna go get my second cup of coffee. Maybe that'll kick me into gear so I don't sit around being so lazy. Don't play on this, but I'm not gonna go out. I don't want to be out in the heat. I'm just gonna play in the basement here, see what we come up with. Well, here's a scene that I drive past often, and I often think, it's this one mountain. It's quite an interesting mountain, not so much because of the outline of it, but more because of where the snow hangs in the crevices or in the shadow. This mountain faces north-ish, so, and it has a general feel of that. Just a few lines. But it sits in behind another area that is somewhat mountainous. This is higher than these. There's another peak in behind here, but I think, well, let's just see. I know it's sort of the shape of the peak, but I think we might just end up ignoring that. We'll see. I'm not trying to portray that mountain or that scene. I'm really just going to paint a mountain, try to come up with a reasonable design here. Let's set a horizon in here. Horizon. Funny, when I listen to myself on my own videos, I've never thought before that I sounded terribly Canadian, but I guess I do. It's about time I realized it. Okay, something like that. And here we're down on the flats. Distant mountain, some more sort of gentle foothills in the foreground. Will I do that? That's a pretty pointy thing. Okay, stop playing. There are farms, there are buildings all over the place. I'm not going to concern myself with them. I'm going to keep this very basic. Okay. I think that's enough of a sketch, because really, even my painting is going to be a sketch. That's how it's going to start anyway. I think what I'd like to do, I'm not going to outline with paint this time. I'm just going to get in there and start painting. I think what I'll do though is I may give a bit of a wash, just to, especially with my sky color, just to establish that. So I think what I'll do is start with a bit of raw umber and cobalt blue. I don't want too much variety in my brush stroke now. I'd rather save that for later. Okay, actually I'm going to change that angle a bit. Okay, that's it. Those lines are exaggerated. That's fine. Now we'll just going to add cobalt blue to that and a bit of burnt sienna. Okay. Draw that line in. Maybe not the most necessary thing, but it's a constant visual reference anyway, so that's good. Okay. Now we'll paint some sky in there. I'm going to keep the sky gray. I'd like this mountain to jump out a little bit. Boy, this is very much about that mountain. I'm not sure. Maybe I should bring this more forward. You know what? I don't care. We'll worry about that in a bit. Okay. Yeah, let's put some sky in there. Start off with a bit of blue, a bit of cobalt blue, and again back to our raw umber. And I guess I better put a little more white. I'll just put a hint of yellow ochre in there as well, just to warm it up. Okay, I'm going to put some more white on my white pile on my palette. There we go. Just putting in a little bit of detail as we go. Okay, no more. Freshen that pile a bit. I think I'm going to bring it across there because I may very well have a little more structure going across. May end up happening. But otherwise, fairly broad strokes. Okay. Adding cobalt blue, darkening it a little bit. If I remember right, this little peak in the distance is shaped sort of like that. Fairly triangular, but tilting a little bit to the left. Even more so actually than I'm painting it, but I don't think that would be a comfortable look on the painting, so I'm not going to do it. It's not about accurate reporting. I'm an impressionist. It's about the painting. It's about trying to make an attractive article here. Somehow. Keep getting little bits of junk in my paint. But anybody who paints is familiar with that. That's just part of it. It's part of the deal. Orienting my strokes sort of like this a little bit. That way the sky is exploding from the scene or dipping into the scene. However you want to look at it. But I'm sticking with the same theme for the color. Raw umber, cobalt blue. Bit of yellow ochre in places, not everywhere. Go a little darker on top. Okay. A little more raw umber. Just keep the chroma from being too high off the edge of the painting. You know, if I was working with very bright colors elsewhere on the painting, I wouldn't worry about toning the chroma down on the edges, but this isn't going to be an intensely colored painting. Or study, or, you know, whatever it ends up being. Okay, that kind of tells us something about what's going on here. Now, I'm going to give my brush a wipe. And a dip into the paint thinner and another wipe. I'm going to clean my palette off completely, because what I do next, I do not want to, what I mix next, I do not want any raw umber in it. I'm going to go back into that sky now with cleaner colors, give it a little more interest, hopefully without getting too carried away. I think the sky is a bit flat. It could use a bit of light, or a bit of shape, or a bit of light and shape. Okay, that's wiped off. Now, a little titanium white. We'll go to a little bit of cobalt blue. And we'll go to a more generous portion of yellow ochre. So these lines more or less are going like this. I think it's okay if we have our sky doing a bit of this actually. Kind of equidistant from the mountain there. Maybe I'll bring it in a little bit. Oops. A little flail there. See if I can fix it with additional brush strokes. Always a bad idea, but sometimes it works. So, maybe not always a bad idea, but anyway. Okay. Too strong. One strong one's good. Doesn't mean two are better. Certainly doesn't mean four are better. And now the paint is getting smoother and I'm truly painting wet and wet. Which is okay. It's not my usual style. I'm not crazy about it. But it'll do. Okay. My paint isn't so thick that I cannot fix that later. I can work on that if I need to. Now, do I have this okay? I'm not thrilled about that either. Okay. I almost, well, not always, but I often have a piece of toilet paper in my hand, bunched up, ready to go. Take the sharp point off that needle. Okay. Now we'll go to, I'm going to add a little alizarin crimson here. Add it to the cobalt blue. Get a little bit of purple happening. That's lighter than I would like. We'll drop the value on that a hint. Add a little cobalt blue. or sorry, add a little bit of yellow ochre to it. Yeah, I think that's going to do it. Okay, that's way off in the distance. And this peak is not way off in the distance, but it's a little ways behind the foreground one. Okay, we're going to go yellow ochre, alizarin crimson, and put in a hint of light there. Okay. Now, got a little bit light, so we're going to grab some cobalt blue and some alizarin crimson and yellow ochre, but with no white. Well, I shouldn't say that. Just a hint. Okay, let's give that some shape. Let's just give that a little bit of shape. We're going in wet and wet, so it won't be too strong. Boy, I've got the shakes here. It's pretty fluid looking. I don't know. Well, I don't mind telling you, I don't like it so far. But let's continue. Sometimes these things have a way of turning around and ending up being okay after all. And if I fail, all I can tell you is that I've always promised you that I will show you my failures. Maybe not all of them, but I think it's important that they are shown to some degree anyway. Okay, now we'll move to the star of the show, which is going to be, we're going back to cobalt blue and alizarin crimson and yellow ochre. For a few of our dark areas. Oh, that's a little too... too dark. Now I have to give some serious thought as to where I'm placing my strokes. Really can't monkey around too much. If I'm going to try to paint a mountain, at the very least I have to take it somewhat seriously. Mountains have no sense of humor when it comes to being incorrectly painted or poorly painted. Because they are mountains, they're big mistakes. It's a big mistake if you make a mistake. So, okay, I'm just blithering, silly, in a silly way now. Okay, for the moment, I'm going to leave that. That's got it started. I think I'd like to have everything kind of calmed, except for this mountain. We'll catch some, there'll be some alpenglow up there, I think. That can be pretty attractive. So, how about if I start right off the bat? It's too bright. Too bright. My intention is to have a little bit of, we'll have some snow in here obviously, but not right away. Not quite yet. See, I'm already forgetting about my intention of really just wanting to do a study, and I'm getting persnickety with my strokes. Hope that one's too bright. Okay. What a shoddy yellow ochre. Just straight yellow ochre. Alright. Back to our yellow ochre and a little bit of alizarin crimson. Going kind of pinky. Going kind of pinky. Okay, yellow ochre and more alizarin crimson and a little bit of ultramarine blue. How about that? I'm out of control here. It's okay. I don't mind too much. Okay, more ultramarine blue. Getting rid of some of our alizarin crimson now. Going paler. Okay, little alizarin crimson. Ugh. Okay. Now, how about if I just try to go and lay in a few highlights that might be snow and not just rock. Let me grab a fresh roll of this very highly sophisticated paper towel that I have. Just get it started. Okay. Okay. Titanium white. Yellow ochre. That's it. All right. Let's add a little bit of cobalt blue to that. Because snow may be lighter, but, or rather it may be lighter in the, even in the shade. It's not warm, it should be a cooler color. I'm just messing around here. Yeah, messing around is right. Skinny little weak indecisive strokes. And sometimes, when you know you're doing it, at the risk of ruining whatever you've done, or not ruining it, but yeah, well, possibly ruining it, it's important just to jump in and be bold and go, okay, this is my last effort. I'm not gonna make a weak painting even weaker. actually better than it was a minute ago. It's not great. But, you know, you never know. We have a bit of a tapestry of color going on here. They're subtle changes, but that's okay. It's off in the distance. Now let's see what we can do about this foreground. I'm going to clean my palette again. And let's take this broad brush again, and now let's go. Oh, come on, people. Okay, well, if I had even the most rudimentary components of a brain, I would not answer the phone. But I did, and because of that, I've quite lost my mojo here. As somebody who wanted to talk for quite a while, and then, yeah, that really throws me off once I'm in the flow of things. However, what I should do is probably take the phone outside and run over it with the lawnmower, but we all know that doesn't work in the long run. So back to this. Yeah, a lot of ultramarine blue now. That's helping already, I think. And it's not so much that it's the ultramarine blue that's helping, rather it's getting rid of that, or covering the wash-in. You know, getting rid of this yellow ochre burnt sienna combination, going towards the blues. This is looking better than it was. I like this area more. This needs work. That sky, I think I'm just going to get rid of those clouds. They're at a bad place, and you know, so far in general it seems to be amateur hour here at my studio. But I'll just continue getting in. Getting in these colors. That is the downside of a flat brush. You can only apply so much. I can't lay it on heavily. I would need to use a round brush for that. Or a filbert, I suppose, but I don't want to keep one on hand just specifically for that. Yeah, we're heading in the right direction. I really regret answering that phone though. It's just took me right out of my frame of thought. And you'd think I would know better. I'm not expecting an important call from anybody, but some strong bits of blue in there as well. You know, we're sort of closer to our focal area, so I don't mind putting in a little bit more tenacious color. or a little more to stronger ultramarine blue. Is that reasonably straight? I don't know. I guess that'll do. Okay. Really covering up that tint or that stain completely now. But it's a wet and wet painting, so that's fine. Anything goes. Okay. It's definitely amateur hour here. I'll play with it this afternoon, or it's still morning, I guess. I'll play with it, get it a little closer to where we want it. Talk to you soon.